Hey, it's ShadowACS again. So we went from a prequel to the story of the original .hack games to one that ran concurrently along with it, and now we have a sequel. And let me tell ya, out of all the .hack shows I've seen so far, this one is easily the worst. I know I've been building it up for a while, so I might as well just jump right in and get it over with. This is .hack Legend of the Twilight. I knew something was wrong with this show as soon as the intro started and we saw what the main characters looked like. I mean, just look at them. What the hell happened? What is this, .hack for 5-year-olds? And yeah, that is kind of the first problem with this show, at least as a sequel in the .hack franchise. The original .hack wasn't super dark or bloody or anything, but it had a real sense of maturity and intelligence to it. It's not perfect, but there was a sense that the creators were genuinely trying to create the best product they possibly could and weren't afraid to challenge the audience on an intellectual level. I mean, hell, I was comparing it to Evangelion when I first watched it. Legend of the Twilight takes all of that and throws it in the fucking dumpster. This is a wacky shonen adventure with goofy characters, silly comic relief, and like any other great shonen anime, bizarre twincest vibes. Yeah, that's the thing that shocked me the most about this. The two main characters are twin siblings that constantly act like they're romantically interested in each other. I don't think it was intentional, I think it's just really awkward bad writing, but it's still weird watching them together. Whatever, what's the story this time? Our main character is a boy named Shugo. He has a twin sister named Reina, who he used to be very close to, but the two haven't seen each other in a while because their parents no longer live together. One day, Reina, an avid gamer, gets the idea for the two of them to reunite inside the World, the virtual reality game that the .hack franchise is focused on. This is especially convenient because the two of them apparently won a contest that neither remembers entering to make their character avatars look exactly like the legendary heroes who saved the world in the past, Kite and Black Rose, who are really just the main characters in the .hack video games. While playing the first level, Shugo comes across a powerful glitched monster who defeats him almost instantly. But then he's visited by Aura, the AI girl who sort of acts as a guardian spirit for the players in the world. She gives Shugo an item called the Twilight bracelet and tells him that this power can be used to drain the data of enemy monsters, and that this ability will one day be used to save the world. Which might come in handy when Reina falls into an in-game trap and goes into a coma in real life. So Shugo has to find a way to use the power of the bracelet to save her. Sound like a good setup for a story? Well, that's probably because it's basically the exact same plot as the fucking games. Let's recap, shall we? In the games, Kite, the main character, is playing the world for the first time when he comes across a powerful glitched monster. The monster traps his friend and sends him into a coma, but then Aura shows up to save Kite. She gives him the Twilight bracelet, tells him he can use its power to data drain enemies and eventually save the world. What a shameless fucking rehash. You know, if you're gonna have the exact same story as the original games and even go as far as to make the two main characters look like the ones from the original games, here's an idea. Why not just make an anime adaptation of the fucking games? It's not like the .hack games don't lend themselves to being adapted into an anime. People would watch it. So why make this stupid, pointless sequel if you're not gonna bother creating a new story? But, and it does kind of pain me to say this, the story, if you can set aside the fact that it's a rehash of the original games, isn't really that bad. In the sense that it's paced okay and hits all the exact beats it needs to for this kind of setup to work. The first third sets up Shugo and Reina and shows them going on various adventures within the world, giving you time to get to know them so you can, in theory, care that much more when Shugo has to go save her. But like I mentioned, it's not the story that's the problem here, it's the tone. The whole thing is given this goofy, childish shonen makeover that none of the previous .hack shows or games had. Maybe they were aiming for a younger audience here, but either way, it doesn't work. From the chibi, baby-like designs the characters now have to all the pointless, unfunny comedy, it just makes the dramatic moments that much harder to take seriously. And some of the moments are just so bafflingly ridiculous, I don't even know what the hell they were trying to get across. Like, there's one part later in the show where this group that's tasked with keeping order inside the world suddenly turn into these Nazi-like dictators. And they start holding public executions for players' characters by putting them on this stupid-looking slot machine in the middle of the town square. I can't... What the fuck am I even watching? Is this supposed to be funny, or are they actually trying to make the villains look intimidating with this? I think they're going for the latter, but why have the stupid slot machine? Why make it look so damn ridiculous? And why would any of the players keep playing the game? Can't they just take the headset off and log out? It's just, ugh. Moments like that make this anime pretty fucking painful. But I haven't even gotten to talking about the characters yet. Specifically, the freakishly weird incest vibe you get from Shugo and Reina. Like I said, I don't think this was intentional, but it definitely comes off that way. Like the fact that when Shugo first sees Reina's in-game avatar, he kind of checks out her revealing outfit. Or the fact that Reina just throws herself in Shugo's arms whenever she's scared or in trouble. There's even a part where they play up that Shugo might have to kiss Reina as part of this in-game event, and the show builds it up like this is what we've finally been waiting all this time to see. Except, no, they're twin siblings. That's fucking gross. Why would we want to see that? There's also a scene where one of the villains makes this evil clone of Reina and has her kind of come onto Shugo while he's naked taking a bath. This is weird. Guys, I don't know if you're even remotely aware of how young siblings act toward each other, but in my experience at least, it was a lot less, oh my god, I'm so happy to see you, and more, stay the fuck out of my room and don't touch my computer. And the really amazing part is, there's no reason in this story why the two of them even need to be brother and sister. They could have instantly solved all these problems if they had just made them childhood friends or something. Yeah, it could have been a really cute romance. Maybe have it so that the two of them were separated for years after one of them moved away and then they were finally reunited inside the game. But when you make them twin siblings and still try to do all this stuff, it suddenly becomes really fucking creepy. But of course, Shugo and Reina aren't the only characters in the show. The Dot Hack franchise as a whole has been consistently good at creating great memorable characters, so how does this cast hold up? Well, we also have Oh Hi Mistral from the Dot Hack games. Fancy seeing your image being shamelessly reused here. I'm not kidding, this is the character in the games they're basing this off of. I think she even has the same English voice actress, listen.
Maybe what we need is some kind of item to help us out here. I guess I was too late. I just sold everything I don't need.
Wow, you're really trying to pass this off as a totally different character. Look, I know the Dot Hack franchise kinda has a history of reusing the same character designs. In fact, they even kinda make fun of it in an OVA where the characters from the games and the original show meet, and Black Rose and Mimiru get into an argument about who's copying the other. But it's a lot more annoying here when they're already recycling so much from the story of the games. There's also this half-dog werewolf girl who pretty much contributes nothing to the story, so she's basically worthless. There's also this shy, quiet healer who has one episode dedicated to her, but aside from that, she doesn't do anything. And even not Mistral doesn't offer anything to the story aside from giving them a place to hide for a while. For a while I was kind of scratching my head about why so many of these characters seemed so completely pointless, but then I realized what they were trying to do here. They're trying to make it like the party of an RPG game. Yeah, think about it, you got your fighters, your healer, your magic user, and the main character with the special power. The only problem with this is that this isn't an RPG game, it's a fucking anime! It's the sequel to the story of an RPG game, but this story isn't one. It doesn't even have the excuse that it's based on an RPG game. The original Legend of the Twilight was a manga. And I'm sorry, characters in RPG games follow different rules than characters in anime. In an RPG, just being a playable character is cool enough. In an anime, the characters actually have to do things to justify their existence. The show also has one of the most annoying comic relief characters I have ever seen in my entire life. An old airheaded classmate of Shugo's who likes stalking Reina. Just try and listen to this guy for 10 seconds without wanting to throw him into a fucking wood chipper.
Their presence here serves only to enhance the beauty of the fabulous Reina.
Nope, couldn't even make it that far. This is like the Jar Jar Binks of the Dot Hack franchise. When he first showed up, I was praying that it would just be for one episode, but nope, he's a recurring character. Every time he shows up on screen, it is torturous to watch. Another random decision that just baffles the hell out of me is that there's one episode where they bring back Silver Knight from Dot Hack Sign for a one-episode cameo, only to have his character killed off. What? Well, okay, technically he doesn't actually die, it's only a video game, so I guess his character data just gets erased. But still, why would you bring back a character from the original show if you're just going to kill them? And why would you bring back Silver Knight of all people? He was the worst character in the original anime. Why couldn't we see Tsukasa and Subaru together again? It just, ugh. Another thing that annoys me, and at this point I recognize I'm just ranting about random things that piss me off, is that Aura's plan in this story makes no fucking sense. Why would she give an important item like the Twilight bracelet to a newbie like Shugo who's clearly terrible at video games in general? In the game, at least I think, she was originally intending to give the bracelet to Orca instead, Kite's much more powerful friend. But Orca got attacked, so she had to settle for Kite instead. That at least makes a certain amount of sense. Here, apparently the reason she gave the bracelet to Shugo was that he looks like Kite. What sense does that make? That's like saying that if you look like Michael Jordan, that would automatically make you great at basketball. But, okay. As much as it all pisses me off, the one thing in this show I have to give credit to is the villain. This is the only thing that really feels like it belongs in a .hack anime. Her motivation is genuinely smart and interesting and kinda makes you think. And it is kind of a twist, so I guess I shouldn't reveal it. All while having her be genuinely kind of intimidating. As for the rest of the show, it's just fucking garbage. While neither .hack Sign or the games that came after it are perfect masterpieces, I did genuinely enjoy them and they got me interested in the rest of the .hack franchise. And while I didn't like .hack Liminality, I could at least tell there was a legitimate attempt to put together something intelligent and interesting. Legend of the Twilight does not feel that way at all. This is a lazy, slapped-together piece of crap where everything it does that isn't stupid and annoying is ripped off from its own source material. The upbeat, silly tone is obnoxious, the characters are annoying, and the comedy is torture. Whether or not you are familiar with the shows that came before it, this is one you should definitely pass up. Anyway, at this point, I'm going to be taking a short break from the .hack marathon. I know I still have .hack Roots and .hack Quantum to get to, which I will later, but for now there's a show whose second season finished fairly recently that I really want to talk about. This is ShadowACS, and I'll see you next time.